This is Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro. From the corporate office to the cab of a truck, they're here to inspire and empower women in all professions. So gear down, sit back, and enjoy.
Welcome. We're an award-winning show dedicated to empowering women in every profession through inspiring stories and expert insights. No topics off limits on our show. We power women on the road to success with expert and celebrity interviews and information you need. I'm Shelley.
And I'm Kathy.
Have you ever wanted to rewire your brain and expand your potential? Does it seem like sometimes you're just stuck and running in place? There are ways to get unstuck. Today, we're welcoming one of the most influential intuitive teachers and creativity pioneers of our time, Colette Baron Reid. Colette is a best-selling author, oracle creator, and spiritual thought leader whose work has helped millions reconnect with their inner wisdom. In her newest book, The Art of Manifesting, she teams up with artist Anna Denning to unveil a breakthrough method that blends neuroscience, ancient symbolism, intuitive art, and the power of the conscious universe. Actress Jennifer Aniston has endorsed this book. Through simple meditative drawings, Colette shows us how to rewire the brain, dissolve limiting beliefs, activate intention, and step into true co-creation with the universe. Her AM method, or the art of manifesting, is fresh, playful, deeply healing, and grounded in both science and spirit. It's a neuro-arts-based manifestation system that uses intentional drawing to connect with the universe, rewire the brain, and align your energy with what you want to manifest. Can you imagine the power in that? From exploring neuro-arts and quantum alignment to teaching how surrender can be a superpower, Colette gives us a roadmap for manifesting with clarity, connection, and joy. If you've ever wondered how to activate your potential, shift your energy, or draw your destiny into reality, you're in for an extraordinary conversation. Welcome, Colette. Thank you for being on the show with us.
Oh my God, thank you too. And you have a voice like velvet.
Isn't she impressive? Like, oh my God.
I could just listen to you talk. I'm like, oh, am I supposed to talk now?
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for your wonderful introduction. You literally hit on every single thing. I don't even need to talk now.
Well, you deserve a wonderful introduction, Colette. You've got an extraordinary story that showcases the principles you teach about manifesting and changing from within, with a built-in capacity for success and being the shaper of our own reality. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? You've gone through a lot of changes yourself.
Well, yes. So I will not bore you with my entire story because it's too long, but I will tell you the highlights. How about that? I'll give you the Reader's Digest points.
Sounds good.
I'm going to say that, first of all, my entire body of work is all about helping people, mostly women, because women are my biggest audience, but women to discover who they need to become in order to live the life they say they want. Because you can want a life different than what you have till the cows come home. But if you aren't willing to change, you're not going to have that. So it really is about transformation. So my work in the past 36 years has all been about personal transformation. And the reason I went into this was kind of interesting because 40 years ago, I'll just go back as to how it all started. I got clean and sober. So, and I have it, it's almost 40 years now. So it's like next month, it'll be 40 years.
Bravo to you.
Thank you. One day at a time. And I came in, I always say, to sobriety, which is really not about quitting drinking or drugs and self-harm, but to a spiritual life. Like I really devoted myself to a spiritual path. And in doing so, like I had a lot that preceded this that got me to where I was. I was gang raped when I was 19. I don't know if you can say that on the radio, but I had really had trouble with drugs and alcohol throughout school. And it was just because I couldn't deal with all the information that was coming at me. And it was all intuitive information, by the way. My parents were academics. They were amazing parents. I cannot say anything negative about my family because they were great. But, I had this path that was laid out for me. And, I'm going to go be a lawyer. They were immigrants that came over from after World War II, and they decided who their daughter was going to be. And I just wanted to be a singer. Okay. But I just never felt like I belonged anywhere and that I had I was uncomfortable in my skin because I just did not know what all this information was for, why I felt the way I did, why I couldn't tell where I ended and other people began, and what the heck it was that I could just know something off the top of my head about somebody that I didn't know at all and thought that they told me and they didn't, right? So when I finally hit bottom, and I had always believed that there was something better for me, but because there's some knowing, an inner knowing that my life was meant to mean something. And I was in the music business, and so I've had two parallel careers. And, it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And I couldn't deal with all the original, the violence that happened to me in early 20s. So I was 26 when basically I hit bottom, and the next year I finally got clean and sober. So that's it. So it wasn't about that. What happened was, I started going to all these different programs. I became very active in Unity Church, which was really the New Thought movement, 12-step programs, therapy, you name it. But I had a spiritual awakening that was so profound that I knew there was something and that I had to change. And so I just kept asking myself, who do I want to become? Is it possible for me? And very small, tiny micro steps. I mean, in a million years if I look back 40 years ago, would I have thought that I would have, a multi-million-dollar business, that I would have millions of people when they have like over 2 million Oracle card decks sold worldwide, been in front of thousands of people in audiences, and actually having 2 albums out on the Universal Music label, even though that career tanked. But, I've accomplished some extraordinary things, but they could not have happened had I not done the work of peeling away all that separated me from my spiritual core. Now, not everybody certainly you don't have to hit a kind of bottom that I hit, but I really believe that each one of us is here. And again, keep an open mind. I'm going to talk about God, not the white guy God in the sky or a religious God, but more of this spiritual concept, or you can call it the conscious universe, or quantum physicians would say the quantum field. But there is something bigger than all of us that works through us, that made us. And each one of us is an emissary of that consciousness. And so I believe that I am here to do something that's meaningful, and that it's my job to clear the filter and keep this, keep growing and keep asking the right questions and staying curious and saying, what's your will for me? Although I was very stubborn and like, thy will be done through me. P.S. I want that. And struggle like anybody, but I saw so early on the magic of what surrendering to a power greater than me could do. And so, and it's interesting that this particular book right now, because all my work is, everything, oracle cards, divination tools, things like that, have all been around giving people tools, technologies, so they could really navigate their lives from their most authentic, unique, inspired self, right? And in that, find the success that is really is their birthright. All of us have success, some form of success is our birthright. And so, this particular book, because I was an artist. I made a living in the early 80s painting on people's clothes and stuff. So I've always done music, art, and the woo-woo stuff, which I didn't want to do. Actually, I used to tell people the first 6 years of doing this, I don't really do this. I'm really a singer. Don't come back next year. Like, I had a huge chip on my shoulder. I was raised to believe that forget it. This was like Madame Zora in the corner with the crystal ball. Now I have crystal balls and love them. But I mean, my parents were academics. I went to a private school. I went to the best university, and I was a disappointment. And I had a real thing about the fact that I never finished my education. I studied Jungian psychology as well, never finished my degree. So that was a thing. And then here I was doing this thing that was so easy And it was so profound. And I was so weirded out by it, going like, no, 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 this can't be me. This cannot be me. No, 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 please no. Because, I kind of like, my parents were like, no, right? So finally, the first 6 years, and now remember, when I started this work, the intuitive work, there was no internet. There were no cell phones. We had those, I'm 67, right? So we had, at the time, there were those phones where you had the little, the machine with the cassette, right? And the round, they didn't even have the buttons, I think, at that point on the machine.
Right.
And people gave my phone number out and my name in cocktail parties, in airports. By the end of 6 years, I had read at least one person from 29 countries.
Wow.
Wow.
And the last guy, I know I'm not allowed to do Indian accents anymore. It's very verboten, but I used to do a good one. And my Indian friend taught me, just so y'all know. But anyway, I'm not doing it. But when it all hit home to me was when I heard this voice, crackle, crackle, crackle on the phone. I want to make an appointment. And he said he was from Delhi. And I thought he was the guy, because he sounded just like the guy from the deli up the road. So I'm saying, like, I just saw you an hour ago. Like, what do you call it? Like, hello. Right? And no, and he was calling from Delhi, India. And I'm like, how did you get my number? Like, and then afterwards, I gave him, I'd let him, he booked a reading, and then afterwards, he made this whole thing about inviting me to India and all this stuff. And I hung up the phone and I started bawling. And I realized that because I was so afraid also of the responsibility at that time, right? I mean, at that time, I wanted to be a singer-songwriter. This was not the plan. But man plans and God laughs, so I cried and I thought, wow, I am this. Because I kept saying, like, if I'm not the real deal, like, make them go away, like, make it all go away. And it didn't go away. So, and I never even gave it a business card. Like, I've never promoted this. It's all been word of mouth. So I'm a big believer in that even still today, that your quality of the work that you do and what you provide people is your calling card, is the integrity in which you present it. It's what what you do is not about the bells and whistles, cash and prizes that you see on the internet. It's really about quality and being integrous to why you do what you do and how you can serve somebody. You don't have any, obviously, like you have no way to know for sure, but it's like people know that if you're really genuine, they're going to tell their friends, and then they're going to tell their friends. You know what I mean? It's like, I think a lot of what we see these days are, with the internet is like the extroverted people, the people who put all them. So I hate the internet.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that are staged, and you've
Right?
a lot of fake people out there too. See a lot of those.
Stay tuned for more of Women Road Warriors coming up.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. I have one question for you. Do you want to stop worrying about the IRS? If the answer is yes, then look no further. I've been around for years. I've helped countless people across the country, and my success rate speaks for itself. So now you know where to find good, honest help with your tax problems. What are you waiting for? If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or haven't filed in years, call me now at 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com for a free consultation and get your life back.
Industry movement Trucking Moves America Forward is telling the story of the industry. Our safety champions, the women of trucking, independent contractors, the next generation of truckers, and more. Help us promote the best of our industry. Share your story and what you love about trucking. Share images of a moment you're proud of. And join us on social media. Learn more at truckingmovesamerica.com.
Welcome back to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro.
If you're enjoying this informative episode of Women Road Warriors, I wanted to mention Kathy and I explore all kinds of topics that will power you on the road to success. We feature a lot of expert interviews. Plus, we feature celebrities and women who've been trailblazers. Please check out our podcast at womenroadwarriors.com and click on our episodes page. We're also available wherever you listen to podcasts, on all the major podcast channels like Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, you name it. Check us out and bookmark our podcast. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, and other sites. And tell others about us. We want to help as many women as possible. We're back with Colette Baron Reid, one of today's most influential intuitive teachers and creativity pioneers. Colette is the best-selling author and the mind behind a fascinating new approach called The Art of Manifesting. She blends neuroscience, intuitive art, and ancient symbolism to show how simple, intentional drawing can help rewire the brain, dissolve limiting beliefs, and get you unstuck. This is creativity as healing, manifestation as play. And yes, it's even endorsed by Jennifer Aniston. If you've ever felt stuck or wondered how to shift your energy and step into co-creation with the universe, you're exactly where you need to be. Colette, I find it interesting. Manifestation is something that basically found you, and you embraced it eventually.
No, I was embracing it right then and there too. From the beginning, I kept asking. The thing is, this is what is so fascinating. So it sounds like I'm saying, oh, I didn't want this and I failed at the other thing. No, I said, which is what I teach now, I said every day, show me your will for me. Show me what is in my highest good. And I rehearsed the state of being I wanted, which was to feel dignity, to feel self-respect, to know I was helping other people, to genuinely be using whatever gifts I was given, but I was convinced it was me as a singer-songwriter. And so all the doors were slamming in my face over there, and this one was just wide open. Like I didn't even know who Hay House was. And I end up getting a book deal with Hay House. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Right? So but it was like, I kept asking and I kept getting exactly what I asked for, which was, show me. It's the zone of synchronicity, and synchronicity worked like clockwork. And yes, the feeling state, I was just wrong about the form. Right. And that is the thing that I talk about in my new book and what I teach because everything is about manifestation. I believe we're always talking about manifestation. It's that got hijacked in 2006, I think, when all this, The Secret came out and it became very simplified and very much about materialism. And I want that, I'm going to get that. And then people were upset because they blamed themselves, blah, blah, blah. And it's not about, I will never suffer again. Thank you. That's not how this works. And plus, the universe is not Uber Eats, right? Right? You can't order in, but you got to become the person that has the thing you say you want. And I was the person because I was continuously evolving because I was on a spiritual path, but I couldn't see it. And I think a lot of us miss what's in front of us because we're so attached to what we think we want.
Right.
Right? We don't spend any time asking ourselves, how do I want to feel? What's really behind that want? People don't really want the thing they say they want. They want what they're hoping the thing is going to give them, whether it's, pride, whether it's, you know what I'm saying, like power over others, maybe it's like reputation, maybe it's to redeem yourself. For me, that's what it was. For me in the beginning, that was all about if I was a successful singer-songwriter, at least my parents would think that was cool.
Colette, your method for manifestation's different from the trendy wish it and get it version.
Yes.
You show people that manifestation's about a transformational neuro-spiritual practice that changes us first, and the outer world reflects that inner transformation. Am I correct?
Yes, and let's actually expand on that a little bit. So, because that sounds like for the person who doesn't know what the heck you just said, it sounds very sciencey. And in fact, it's funny, when I got to Hay House, I made friends with all the science guys because I'm like, okay, I don't understand how this works. Does anybody know? This is what happened to me. This is what I saw. Give me some background on this. So we did a ton of research. I'm also an artist. Anna Denning was another artist who I invited in to the book because I was part of her. Anyway, we have a big, long history and we're like cousins. So we co-created this. We're both Reiki masters. So a lot of energy went into the actual process that we're teaching people. But we were sure, both of us are nerds, that we don't want this to just be woo-woo. We want to get the science that can back this up legitimately. So here's what I want everybody to consider with what you just said. Okay. all human beings, all of us, I don't care who you are, you are gifted with a very specific system that is in your brain. And imagine you have a bouncer in your brain, okay? And its sole job, it's called the reticular activating system of the brain. And its job is to sort and decide, because you have, through either what you have learned to expect, what you believe because you've had an experience, or what you've been traumatized to believe or conditioned to believe. There's a whole bunch of there that its job is to only show you evidence of what you feel and what you rehearse is real in the outer world. So if you are constantly rehearsing anxiety and fear, you're going to start noticing all the things that could cause more anxiety and fear on the outer world, because you are naturally built like this. Every single person is. Why the negative bias is there. It's to protect us. So and by the way, too, we are being so conditioned right now. If you notice all the division, et cetera, even what you see, algorithms, it's kind of like your own personal algorithm, by the way, because it tells you what, if you clicked on it, but not just a click, but if you've rehearsed a state of being, it's going to show you more of it. So, but when you go online and you click on something, or you say something out loud, which is even more horrific, right? And then all of a sudden there it is, right? That's kind of how that works. You start noticing it everywhere. So that's just the way it is always. So if you learn how to harness the capacity to choose and to rehearse, it's kind of like faking it till you make it sometimes. It's like, I want to feel like this, so I'm going to rehearse that. Now, we've boiled it down to a very, very specific, very easy thing that anybody could feel, which is gratitude. So if you can immerse yourself in the state of gratitude as a rehearsed state of being, it's called an elevated emotion, that releases a bunch of neurochemicals in your whole body, right? And you get flooded with these feel-good chemicals, and the reticular activating system, or that bouncer in there, goes, oh, we're having a different kind of party. Let's get rid of all those other fear people. Get out, get out. We're only letting these ones in now. With these ones who are happy, the ones in here who are, of service, the ones who want to feel grateful. We're going to start showing this person then more things that's going to bring more gratitude, more reasons, more ways. And so and brain plasticity is, our brains are not plastic like plastic, but the brains change. The brain can change. Just like epigenetics, just because you have a genetic profile for X, Y, or Z doesn't mean those things are going to turn on, right? They don't have to express themselves, because Dr. Bruce Lipton is a person actually who I really admire. So he was one of the first people to write about that, to talk about the environment of the cell dictates the health of the cell, not the nucleus. So the environment of the mind dictates the health of us, the body. We know that concept of psychosomatic, issues. Like, give you a perfect example. I talked about this in the book. I have a real allergy to cayenne pepper. So I saw some chalk that my friend and I had some, and I saw, all of a sudden I noticed that this thing had red powder on it. And I put it in my mouth, and I swear to God, my lips started swelling, and then my throat started closing. And it was just powdered sugar, but I decided, oh, that's cayenne pepper, and my body responded. The body doesn't know when you're having a very strong response to something that it isn't real, right? So,
Yeah.
so you have to train yourself to expect, or to at least allow yourself to get into that space of having gratitude to such a degree where you're high on it, which is, we show you how to do that. It's amazing. And then all manner of amazing synchronicities, or we call meaningful coincidences for people who don't know what a synchronicity is, happen. And it's like clockwork every time. All of a sudden, there it is, like little billboards, little God shots, I say, to show you you're on the right path. But that doesn't mean that you get what you want right away or in the form you want it. Sometimes you need to take a couple detours. Maybe you're not ready for what you're rehearsing, right? You have to learn something before you can actually experience that other thing, because you lack that integral piece of self-awareness, for example, or an integrated wisdom that you would need to actually experience what you say you want. So this is why I say, This is really a training experience, and it's all based on curiosity, because you got to just go, I wonder what spirit has in store for me, right? Or the universe, right? Because I call it spirit, but the quantum field is going to respond. It's its job. And we prove it, that there is a dynamic conversation between you and the conscious universe. Every time you're going to see something.
Stay tuned for more of Women Road Warriors coming up.
Industry movement Trucking Moves America Forward is telling the story of the industry. Our safety champions, the women of trucking, independent contractors, the next generation of truckers, and more. Help us promote the best of our industry. Share your story and what you love about trucking. Share images of a moment you're proud of. And join us on social media. Learn more at truckingmovesamerica.com.
Welcome back to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro.
If you're just joining us, this is a conversation you don't want to miss. We're back with Colette Baron Reid, a best-selling author and creativity pioneer who's changing how we think about manifestation. Her latest work blends neuroscience, intuitive art, and ancient symbolism to show how intentional drawing can help rewire your brain, break through limiting beliefs, and move you out of the stuck mode. This approach is playful, powerful, and deeply healing. And it's even caught the attention of Jennifer Aniston. If you're ready to expand your potential and co-create your future, stay right here. Colette? I find it interesting you say success is our birthright. I'm not sure that everybody believes that. I think that there are a lot of people who have been told or tell themselves they're failures. It's a wonderful premise to say, hey, success is our birthright. We all have the right to succeed.
Yep.
And then you talk about that in the art of manifesting, which is your AM method. What exactly is the art of manifesting?
Yeah, well, it's actually really simple. The art of, so if you know how to doodle, you can do this, right? So there is a correlation between art, creativity, and neuroplasticity, right? So we're talking about that part. So we have to become the vessel to make the thing happen. And it encourages or recruits a part of the brain that then sees this as already done, because you've moved your arm and you've seen it marked on a piece of paper. So it gets stored in the brain, and we start to look for the outer world, and we just see that light up outside. So the art of manifesting is actually a 7-step process. And we go through, it's actually a 7-week process, but we just made it 7 weeks because we just wanted people to slow down, and to really savor each step, because there's a lot of journaling. There's self-awareness exercises, like how well do you know yourself? And what you just said, people don't believe it because they've been conditioned to think other about themselves. It could be generational, right? You could have ancestral lineage stories about why you shouldn't or can't or won't. But it's our job to betray those stories, right? To say, like, no, every single person has a unique purpose, and every single person has the right to success and succeed without having to hustle for their worth. Every person is worthy. And so doing these, it's kind of, well, in the simplest way, since this is radio and I can't show anybody, right? But these are like simple circular movements with your hand. Pencil, it doesn't have to even look good, right? It just goes round and round. And because you're doing a round circle, everything is based on circles. You're remembering there's a primitive part of your brain that knows that round things are not only safe, but they represent life. Everything is spherical in the universe. So there's in the quantum field, everything is spherical, right? So the cosmos, there's a brand new, I'm not going to go into the weirdness, but there's all kinds of new scientific discoveries about things that are shaped, that are always, have some type of round quality to it. So it teaches us that is not only safe, it's life-giving, it's unified, It's spirit. It represents togetherness, connection. And so when we do that, we're empowering ourselves. And also when we do it clockwise, we're opening ourselves up to the conscious universe and with the way, because we do it with gratitude. So we draw the circles with gratitude. That's all we do. Round and round. That's how it starts. And then throughout the book, we teach you different types of things that you could draw, symbols, and the history. We put a lot of the history behind us too, because before spoken language, we drew.
Yeah.
We made marks to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is in our most primitive ancestral brain. We know it. That we know that when we make this mark, right, in us is an ancient technology that goes, right, this is true. So you get to skip over all that BS that you took on because somebody told you were a failure, you weren't allowed, there would be consequences, you better not get too big for your britches. Now that said, I will say I still have a lot of those things, right? Like my mom was terrified her whole life after World War II. She was German. She was Polish actually, but her father, who was not on her birth certificate, was a French Jew. And he was killed in a concentration camp because he came to get her after her mother was killed by a bomb. And he was caught at the door by SS officers. And the people who took her in, who were Christian, told him she was dead. Right. So she always believed that you can never, ever, ever tell anybody who you really are. And it's not safe. You had to come somehow. Life wasn't safe. Well, you know what? I had to get over that. Life is safe. I'm going to make it safe because I'm going to trust that there's a greater power than me that's going to ensure. Plus, I know what circles mean, right? And I'm going to feel good. And I'm going to release my anxiety into this piece of paper so that I get to a place where I can make a choice that is not unconsciously motivated by a whole list of reasons why I can't get to where I want to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So the book and everything, and again, it's done very easy. We definitely warn people in there when we go off, we call them nerd alerts in the book, right? We do the sciencey part, like nerd alert, but just like, hey, this is what we know this to be true, but it's so simple. If you know how to draw a wavy line or a crappy circle that looks like a potato, you can do this. As long as you can move your arm around and if you can't, if you could just visualize it, you can see how this works. Now, another component of our method that makes it different than others is we take it out of your head. A lot of the hashtag get what you want type of manifesting, like, look at me, I manifested this. So manifesting this way is taking it out of the head, right? So it's very heady. The rest of it is think about it and you think really hard and you want, right? That you want something. It's about desire. Well, desire is a good fire starter, but after that, it's going to burn you out. You cannot want. The more want you have, the more lack you are holding space for it. We are saying, I don't have this. And the more you say, I don't have this, well, the universe is just going to keep you reasons why you don't have it, right? So here's more not having, right? So the having state is something that we teach you how to rehearse. So when you doodle and you're just not putting any effort into it, you're having a state of being. So you don't want anything. You're actually sitting there having it. And when you have it, you don't have any want. You don't have any attachment. So we teach you step by step how to let go of the attachment to the desired outcome. And that is not easy. And I will tell you right now, everybody falls asleep at the wheel at this one. And you got to start again. And that's okay, because we're not built that way. None of us are. We've been taught to chase after things, to hustle for our worth, to hustle for what we want, work really hard, when in fact it's really about, I'm going to hold space for this as if I have it already. Then I'm going to do the legwork after I already feel that, that matches in the universe somewhere. So now I'm just going to be curious to see what my next step is. And it always reveals itself. So this is a way to change the way you think about life in general.
So does drawing actually open up our brains to be more open to change?
Yes.
So we're more open to change. Interesting.
and it's less painful. So it's actually not painful at all. So the drawing, and again, drawing, I'm talking about doodling. So we are not talking about you becoming an artist here. We're talking about you mindlessly using your hand and a paper, drawing circles, small ones, big ones, and then different symbols once you get the hang of it, to be able to loosen up that grip in the head. So that, because we've been taught that change is scary or change is hard, when it isn't. Like, this whole process is about teaching us how to become the person that has that thing we want, right? And so when we loosen that grip on who we were, because our identity is pretty baked, it's like, no. We're going to just lightly, gently. This is gentle. I'm all about gentle processes. It's very feminine. This is a very feminine, playful way to give yourself permission to change. But the change isn't also mental. You don't decide to change. You're just like, okay, who do I need to be? And then let whatever forces external, which is not really external, which is, that's the hardest thing to explain, that we are part of the quantum field. The quantum field is in us because we see ourselves as separate from each other and from the, like, I'm not the table, but apparently according to quantum physics, I kind of am, right? So, right, it's like just we're blinking lights and matter. So it's hard to get around that in the beginning, but eventually it gets you get into a flow state. And that's what the point is. The flow state organically activates the change. It's organic. You don't have to go, I need to go and analyze this so I can change it. No, you have to say, okay, if I really, really, really want to imagine, which is a head thing, right? I want to imagine a different life, or a life that I think I would like, or I want to feel a certain way. I want to feel good about myself. I want to feel good about my family. I want to feel prosperous or whatever. We think it's a form that's ours, but it may not be. But we need to change to become that person, because oftentimes we're not where we say we want to be because we're not the person to experience that yet. So that's why I'm saying change is really organic, and we don't know what that change is really going to look like, or what we have to do to actually help that evolution along. But this is very gentle. This is feminine. This is a flow, and it catches us. And when we look back, we go, wow, how did that happen? And that's what this does.
Stay tuned for more of Women Road Warriors coming up.
Industry movement Trucking Moves America Forward is telling the story of the industry. Our safety champions, the women of trucking, independent contractors, the next generation of truckers, and more. Help us promote the best of our industry. Share your story and what you love about trucking. Share images of a moment you're proud of. And join us on social media. Learn more at truckingmovesamerica.com.
Welcome back to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro.
We're exploring how creativity can literally change your life. Our guest, Colette Baron Reid, is a renowned intuitive teacher and best-selling author of The Art of Manifesting, who's helping people transform from the inside out. She introduces a powerful method that uses simple meditative drawing to rewire the brain, shift energy, and align intention with action. It's a fresh blend of science and spirit that shows manifestation doesn't have to be complicated. It can be joyful, healing, and accessible to anybody. Colette? So essentially, this is neuro-arts, correct?
Yes.
You're actually doing art. It's doing something to the brain. Is it creating new synapses and making you more open to things? I mean, I guess
100%.
Okay.
Yep, it's creating new synapses in the brain. It's activating things that were there before that may have been dormant. It sets you up to expect those things in the outer world. And then this is the part that we didn't talk about yet. Well, then how does it work? Then how does the outer, how do we see things in the outer world? It's not just our eyes looking for it. Well, the quantum field, or God or spirit, or whatever you want to call that ineffable, omniscient, energy that works with us, responds to us. And it's because we are broadcasting. So imagine Like, I don't know if you ever asked, where is the music that's playing, right? So, so it's being broadcast over frequency. So we have frequencies and especially that when we have signaled frequencies are states of being that we rehearse and we expect. So we get what we are, not what we want, right? So that energy is being broadcast into the world and we see it come back to us. It's always, I send to you and you respond to me. That's how this always works. It's always working. It's just this book teaches us how to be aware. Because I'll give you an example. If you are in a really, I'm sure you do drive, like, or if you ever go out and you're in a really freaked out mood and because you're late for something, do you not notice that you keep hitting all the red lights? And then the guy road rage is beside you and then somebody like butts in front of you, or you get stuck in the highway, right? I mean, doesn't that happen?
Yeah, I've experienced some of that. Yep.
Right? And then when all of a sudden you're not in a hurry, it's just kind of like all the green lights. That's the simplest way because most people think that, well, that's just coincidental, that she's not telling anything but now what about this? You've met somebody that's a long time ago, like maybe one of your first lovers drove a white car, a Buick, a white Buick, very specific model make. Well, and then you met them, and then all of a sudden, that's the only car you keep seeing everywhere, right? It's just, they're everywhere,
Yep.
right? It's because you noticed the thing that you had an elevated emotion towards. You keep noticing. You don't decide to notice that. All of a sudden, it's like the spotlight is on all these things. So the universe goes, okay, here you go, right? It's like, it's just the way it works for everybody. There's no listener listening to this radio show right now that hasn't had that exact experience. Every one of us has had that experience. If you think about it. As a matter of fact, in one of my schools, in Oracle School, which is a personal transformation program that I have where I use Oracle cards as a navigational tool for self-awareness and personal transformation, the first thing I have them do is first of all, agree that they're not broken, and second, do a synchronicity timeline. Look at all the different coincidences that in your life since you can remember. Did you make those things happen? Well, who did and why did they happen, right? The correlation, if you can really sit down and think about the corollaries between what you were really inspired by, for example, and inspiration is of the spirit. If you're inspired, well, the doors are going to open at some point, and the ones that are not for you are going to close. They're not going to open, right? The path, and it doesn't mean that the path is going to be easy, but you're going to get signs that you're on the right path, even if it's hard.
So in your book, you've got the 7 steps of manifestation to draw your destiny to life. You're actively showing people through basically drawing how they can work their way through the various steps to.
Correct. Yeah. As I've said a few times, with their drawings are based on circles. We have something called gratitude bubbles, and we have circles. And the circles represent what is not filled yet. So we say certain things, we can't tell you what the form is. So when we draw the bigger circles, and again, because I can't show people, right? It's just, these are drawings based on circles and wavy lines. I guess that's the best way to explain this. Mm-hmm. It is a form of neuro-art because of how it works. It is the easiest thing. Like I said, if you know how to doodle, you know how to do this. Anybody can do this. It automatically kicks off something in the brain to start paying attention, and it automatically gets us very intentional. It's about intention of what we broadcast and what we expect to get back, and be very surprised because you will not get what you expect. You just won't. You're going to get something. I always think it's something better. We don't always notice that it's something better, but it's pretty uncanny. And anybody can do this, and you will see the results. Now, I can't promise you that the perfect man necessarily, or so maybe nobody cares about that right now, but let's pretend there's somebody that is. The perfect man may not come right away, but the one that you need to learn about how, what you want or what you don't want might show up until that next person comes, or you actually meet that person because you're ready. Like the job, the client, like you can think about the perfect avatar for your client, but what if the universe sends you a different type of client and all of a sudden you realize, oh, I'm much happier doing it this way. But you would have never thought about that. I'll give you an example too of something that just happened for me. So we were looking for an office in Toronto, a condo, and we used to live in Toronto. And so we lived in a place called the Beaches, and I felt that inspiration, that real sense of push, right? You get that push. I didn't know what, but I knew there had to be water. So I immediately decided, this is the will, right? This human Colette decided it's got to be this place called the Beaches. So every place we went to see, there were lots available. They turned us down, which made no sense to us because we had the money. I have incredible credit rating. We had everything. And it was just like, no. And I'm like, this is weird. So finally, I just got fed up and I got a little bit too attached. And I thought, I never did a drawing around this. I think I'm going to draw this how I want to feel. So I knew I was going to see water because I was inspired by water. And so I did the circles round and round. And I just said, okay, fine, show me what's not for me first. Because if this whole thing is a waste of time, I want to know for sure. Like, give me a big sign that I cannot possibly miss that this isn't for me. And then if it is, show me where I'm supposed to go. So we had this beautiful place. I was very happy. The universe just showed me this gorgeous place. And we're on our way to this gorgeous place that I was convinced was going to be for me because Spirit showed me a sign and that was it. And it canceled on the way there. And I was like, come on. Anyway, so then my realtor said, well, there's 2 units to look at over there in an area I did not want to go to that had construction, but was right on the water. And I just like, why would I want to go there? I don't want to go there. And she goes, well, that's all, why don't we go there? I'm like, it's a beautiful day. I went, okay, fine, let's go there. Sure enough, I get there. The code to get into the unit was my very long, strange address code from my farm. What are the chances? And I walked right in it, and all I saw was water out the window. And I was like, are you kidding? Oh my God. And I didn't see any construction. And then my husband said, let's look at the second unit. And I went, no, it's perfect. Look, Spirit gave it to us. All the signs are there. He said, do me a favor, humor me. So we walked down the hall to the other place, which was smaller, but it was 1111, which is a sign for us. And it was more than perfect. It was actually, I could feel it. I walked in there and I'm like, I'm home. They accepted our offer literally within 20 minutes and off we went. And it was that easy, but I would have never gone there because it wasn't, in my imagination and estimation, it wasn't for me. But I asked and I got an answer. No for that, go there. I could have not gone.
Right.
And I'm going to tell another very funny story, which will help people understand how this works. And it just because I'm the one that wrote it, I mean, anybody can do this. So one of my friends decided to do a drawing, and she put this drawing of this very specific thing, and that she wanted, which was very expensive, very like fabulous, whatever. It was a particular car. And so you can do this with things. You can. I mean, I always find that, because I always have to imagine what happens when I get the thing. Like for me, the office was going to help compassionate prosperity because I would be able to do my work in a beautiful place and be inspired. So my friend just wanted the thing. And I went, okay, well, why not? Why I can't? Why? So this is the funniest thing. So her son comes and brings her a diamond encrusted, not diamond, it was like fake diamonds. They probably cost him $100, model of this car. He had no idea she wanted this thing. And he comes and goes, hey, look what I found. He brought it to her. Right. And she called me up. She goes, you're never going to believe what just happened. Right. So little things like that. It's like the universe has a hilarious, things can happen like that. We went to a party at Thanksgiving. Our Thanksgiving is a different time. And one of the younger women there said she was doing her entire drawing. We did after dinner about health. Health is wealth. That's what she said. Health is wealth. That's just and she drew that and wrote those words on her drawing. And being a young 22-year-old gorgeous influencer, she finished before us and got straight on her phone. And doesn't she go to this gorgeous guy's page and he is wearing a t-shirt that says health is wealth.
Interesting.
Like,
Okay.
but it's because the meaningful coincidences, it's not about getting something. It's about being shown that the universe is listening to us, that we are not alone, that we have the potential to partner with this extraordinary, impossible really to understand energy, but is always working in our favor. And that's what this is about too. It's not necessarily about the big thing that you gain, but it's what happens on the way.
Your book's about a meditative drawing practice to rewire your brain and create your own reality. It's basically opening up people to this whole concept,
Correct.
identifying and releasing your blocks to manifesting. I'm sure that there are people who have really never heard of this. Align with the universe and the quantum field. I'm looking at the 7 steps here. Get clear on what and why you want to manifest.
Yeah.
And
What
then
you want to see in your world and why, right? So
Right.
people are like, I really want to be so successful at this job, but why?
Sure.
Why?
You activate your intention
Yep.
and then rehearse what you want as if you already have it.
Yep.
And then I'm looking at the next step here. Create an action plan.
The action plan is a drawing.
Okay. Okay.
And then it's surrender.
I see that step 7, surrender to the universe.
Yeah, that's the hardest step.
So you walk the readers through all of this.
Mm.
And basically, this helps them achieve their true potential. Is that the whole objective here, basically?
Well, there's multiple objectives. The whole objective here is for you to recognize that you are in a dynamic relationship with the universe that works with you to co-create your reality in the way that you intend, right? So it's not about giving you control over things. It's about showing you this partnership, that the quantum field, yourself, that you are always engaged in this creative partnership so that you can be a lot easier and more in flow with what you say you want, right? So everybody has wants and desires for their lives. So the book itself teaches you how to think like that, how to be like that, how to actually see the evidence that that is true. And that changes people right there. This book, really at its core, is there to give you back your agency that you inadvertently give away to people, places, things, algorithms, the media, et cetera, people's opinions of you, et cetera. You know, what you think you want, or how you think you want to be in the world. This can help you make better choices and trust yourself and be more intuitive. And it's a way for people to have hope again because they start seeing these really unique and interesting miracles that happen that they can't explain. And it happens to everybody.
People are getting in touch with their original self, aren't they? Because I think we get diluted and distracted and throughout life.
Well, if we failed at anything ever and, we buy into a particular state of being, I mean, look at how society treats women, especially women of a certain age. We get invisible at a certain age. We are no longer attractive. We're being sold all kinds of things to make us thin, make us dependent, make us, young looking, anti-aging, anti-this. Like, come on, like women. It's like specifically for women because you are a show for women and women's empowerment. And my process, it teaches you to be empowered, to claim that power, regardless of what we've been taught. I say BS to all of that, right? It doesn't matter how old you are, where you're at. I run a mastermind. I have 22 to 24, usually women. I think this year we have 2 men for the first time in a long many years. So it's 10 years old. And we go through this, like, who do you want to become in this transition time in your life to become empowered once you've hit a certain place in your life and you want more meaning? Well, how do you get there when society has given you a whole list of reasons why you should just go away, and not feel an empowered, juicy, fabulous woman? I'm just starting. I'm 67 and I'm just getting going.
So there's so much here to cover. How do people reach out to you? Certainly, I'm looking at all of this in the book. You've taken from all kinds of different areas in college textbooks, and you're showing people how this really works. I mean, there's a scientific basis to it.
Yeah.
And basically retraining people
But it's an experiential book and it's fun. That's the other thing. We put the science in there because, I'm very well known in a woo-woo world. Okay, let's be honest. I'm an intuitive. I've had a television show as a medium. I'm very well known as a personal transformation coach, et cetera. I have a coaching institute. I do all these things. But mainstream, this was really also to break into the mainstream to say, listen, this isn't just hearsay, nor is it some woo-woo person saying, oh, do this, for sure this will happen. I'm going to show you how this happens and how it can happen for you too. And you can know that there's legitimate gravitas behind this. And we've all been doing it all along anyway. It's just no one's really been able to explain it until recently.
And bravo to doing this, because it gives people a step-by-step approach so they can make the changes that they want to. The art of manifesting. It's really fascinating. Where do people buy the book?
Okay, so they can buy them in any bookstore, online, obviously at hayhouse.com. You can buy them on Amazon. It's a bright orange book. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you can go to my website also, colettebaronreid.com/book, and you can get a free workshop so that you can just download it so that we take you through the process on a video, and it's fun. We had thousands and thousands of people come live to the event, but you get it for free, and other tools that can help you along. And just go have fun with it. I say, like, don't get too in your head with this. Just do step by step, learn it, take it in chunks. And start to realize, like, you can create a reality for yourself that will shock you. And I'll tell you, I am so hopeful. I am very, very hopeful. I do not wait for the outer world to behave itself before I start manifesting.
So, Colette, do you work with people independently or?
Yeah, I work individually only with founders of companies. Yeah, they're the only clients that I take. I retired from working one-on-one about 10 years ago, and now I usually take no more than 2 to 3 founders a year. Then I have a mastermind. But if people want to learn from me, I run really, really great online workshops that you can watch, et cetera. Yeah, so there's lots and lots of ways you can work with me, but independently, no, not unless you are running a big business and you really want change, in which case I'm your girl.
So this book is a really, really great way for people to tap into your methods here on an individual basis and do it, just kind of a self-paced course, if you will.
Yeah, you don't
art of
need
manifesting. Yeah.
Absolutely. We made this book. And plus also we do tons of stuff for free. Like people who get the book, me and my partner, Anna, we do drawings online. Like we get together with people and we do, like usually I do a vision board challenge at the beginning of the year. Like last year we had over 60,000 people that came online from 53 countries to come and do it with me. So I have these free things that people can do with me that are based on what I have written, right? So you can experience it with other people and see what everybody's doing.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's fun. I just want to keep it fun. Everything is too serious.
And it sounds like you've had a lot of people who've had some tremendous results by engaging in the art of manifesting that you have.
Yes, indeed. One of my students in my certified intuitive coach program got the book, and immediately she had visualized, she wasn't sure where her clients were going to come from. And literally she said in a week, she said, I was just so open because I had in my head, I was having them in my heart. I was feeling that I had them already. It was great. I didn't want them. And the next thing you know, she says, I just got booked solid for 2 weeks. There is a correlation between working with this content and seeing results in the outer world. Sounds like magic, kind of is, but it works.
What is your website again, Colette?
ColetteBaronReid.com and then /book.
This has been fascinating.
It has.
Thank you.
We all need to manifest and bring out our true selves and our true potential.
We need to manifest consciously and intentionally.
This has been great. Colette, I know Kathy and I have thoroughly enjoyed talking to you.
Absolutely. This is great.
Thank you. Very, very nice to be here.
Thank you, Colette.
Thank you so much.
We hope you've enjoyed this latest episode. And if you want to hear more episodes of Women Road Warriors or learn more about our show, be sure to check out womenroadwarriors.com. And please follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. On our website, we also have a selection of podcasts just for women. There are a series of podcasts from different podcasters. So if you're in the mood for women's podcasts, just click the Power Network tab on womenroadwarriors.com. You'll have a variety of shows to listen to anytime you want to. Podcasts made for women. Women Road Warriors is on all the major podcast channels like Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Audible, YouTube, and others. Check us out. And please follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro. If you want to be a guest on the show or have a topic or feedback, email us at sjohnson@womenroadwarriors.com.